Hello students, good morning. Continuing Gmat series, today's first question is, there are 10 books on a shelf, of which 4 are, total books are 10, out of which 4 are paperbacks and 6 are hardbacks. Right? How many possible selection of 5 books from the shelf contain at least one paperback and at least one hardback? So the question is, we have total 10 books, out of which 4 are paperback and 6 are hardback. The question asks us how many possible selection of 5 books. We have to select 5 books. Out of these 10 books, we should contain at least one paperback and one hardback. So whenever we use the term at least, there are two terms which are used in permutation and combination: at least and at most. At least, if number has an at least, that means greater than equal to, and at most means less than equal to that number, right? So at least one means 1, 2, 3 and so on. But at least means in Hindi we call it kam se kam. So kam se kam is for 1. Now first of all, we will find the total number of selections possible to select 5 books out of 10 books. So that will be 10C5. So that will be equal to 10 factorial upon 10 minus 5 factorial multiplied by 5 factorial. So this is basically equal to 10 factorial upon 5 factorial into 5 factorial. Now we'll break 10 factorial up to 5 factorial. So this will be 10 into 9 into 8 into 7 into 6 into 5 factorial divided by 5 factorial into 1 5 factorial we are going to open into 1. So this gets cancelled. Now 5 2s are, now 2 and 2 gets cancelled, 4 2s are, and here 3 3. So 3 2 7 and 6, 7 6 42 into 6. So this is basically 40 plus 2 into 6. So this is 240 plus 12, which is 252. So total possible arrangements are to select 5 books out of 10 is 252. Now, so either we now calculate the number of books in which the selection can contain at least one paperback and at least one hardback, or the easiest way to do such kind of questions is we will find the number of books which contain no paperback and no hardback. Right? Now, since number of paper books are 4, so there can be no selection in which there will be 5 books which will be having no paperback. Right? Now, for hardback, we have 6 books, and there can be 6 possible ways in which one of the books can be left out. Right? So, total number of ways in this can be done in 6 ways. So, if we subtract 256 from 252, we will get 246. So, 6 is the number of possible ways in which hard book can be left out. So if we subtract this, we will get the number of selections in which we will get at least one paperback and one hardback. So total number of selections will be 246. So right option will be option D. If X is to be chosen at random from the set 1, 2, 3, 4 and Y is to be chosen at random from the set 5, 6, 7, what is the probability that XY will be even? Now X has to be chosen from a set which is containing 1, 2, 3 and 4. That means 4 elements. And Y has to be selected from a set randomly which is having 3 elements. Right? Now we have been asked that what is the probability that XY will be even. Now total number of possibilities will be 4 multiplied by 3 equal to 12. Now since we have been asked that the product should be even. Now we know that whenever odd is multiplied, whenever odd number is multiplied by an even number, it results into an even number. For example, if I multiply 3 by 6, I will get 18. And second category is when even is multiplied by even though that is even. 2 into 4 is 8. The only category left is when odd is multiplied by odd. Right? So that will be when 3 is multiplied by 5, in that case that will be odd. Now either we find the even multiples or we find the odd multiples and subtract from the total possibilities. Now total number of odd elements we need to find in X, how many are odd. So there are 2 odd in X, 2 odd elements are there in X, right? And in Y we have only 2, 5 and 7. So 2 odd elements in Y, which will result into the product odd. Right? So total number of odd products will be 2 multiplied by odd products will be 2 multiplied by 2 equal to 4. So how many will be the even products? That will be 12 minus 4. 8 will be even products. This is odd products. This will be even products. Right? As finding 8 will be difficult, so we found out the odd products. Now probability will be 8 number of even products divided by total number of possibilities. So this will be equal to, this cancels out from 2, 4 2 ja 8, 4 3 ja 12. So this will be 2 by 3 is the possibility. So right option for this will be option number D. Option number D is the right answer. The function f is defined for each positive 3-digit number, 3-digit integer n by f of n is equal to 2 raised to power x, 3 raised to power y and 5 raised to power z, where see integer n is represented is a 3-digit positive number, right? First is 3-digit positive number integer, and so f of n is defined by 2 raised to power x, 3 raised to power y and 5 raised to power z, where x, y and z are hundreds, tens and unit digits of n respectively. If m and v are 3-digit positive integers such that f of m is equal to 9 times f of v, then m minus v. So we need to find m minus v. Now let us suppose m is equal to ABC and v is equal to small abc, right? So f of m will be equal to 2 raised to power, now on the power of 2 it's a 100, so here will be 2 raised to power a, 3 raised to power b and 5 raised to power c, right? Now for f of v we will write 2 raised to power a, the 100th digit thing, so and then 3 raised to power v and 5 raised to power c. Now we have been given that f of m is equal to 9 times f of v, so that means I will write twice of a, thrice of b and 5 times c should be equal to 9 times twice of a, thrice of b and 5 times c. Now here it is 9, so I can write it 3 square, twice of a, thrice times b and 5 times c. Here it is twice times a, thrice times b and 5 times c. Now since 3 it can be added, so basis and powers can be added, so it can be written twice a, thrice b plus 2 and 5 times c, right? Here it is twice 2 raised to power a, 3 raised to power b and 5 raised to power c. Now in equality we know that when bases are same, powers can be equated. So I can write that 2 here, I can equate 2 raised to power a equal to 2 raised to power a, which gives me a equal to a, right? Only then this equality will hold. Now for b it will be b equal to b plus 2, and for c it will be equal to capital C equal to small c, right? Okay, now we need to find m minus v. Now m can be represented as 100 times a plus, now m is 10 times b plus c minus 100 times a, small a, plus 10 times small b plus small c, right? This is capital C, right? How it came we have already discussed in the previous lectures, so I will just give you a quick rewind of this. Let us suppose we have a number 986, so it can be represented in standard notation as, since 9 is at the 100 place, so 9 multiplied by 100 plus 8 multiplied by 10 plus 6 multiplied by 1 at the ones place. So this will be 900 plus 80 plus 6, so this will be 986. So this is the standard in the standard form how we write the 3-digit number or 2-digit number or any n-digit number. Now we know that a is equal to a, so I can write 100a plus, now b is equal to b plus 2, right? So I will write 10 b plus 2 plus capital C minus 100 of a minus 10b minus c. Now 100a gets cancelled, c and c gets cancelled. I will be left with, opening the brackets, 10b plus 20 minus 10b, right? So 10b again gets cancelled and I would be left with 20. So m minus v will be equal to 20. So right option for this will be option number D. D is the right option. Right? If 10 raised to power 50 minus 74 is written as an integer in base 10 notation, what is the sum of the digits in that integer? So we have done such kind of question previously also. So first of all we will try to notice the trend. So first of all 10 square minus 74. So this is basically 100 minus 74. So it is equal to 26. Now 10 raised to power 3 minus 74. So this will be 1000 minus 74. So this will be equal to 926. Now 10 raised to power 4 minus 74, it is equal to 1 and 4 zeros minus 74. So this will be equal to 9926. Again, if we see the trend in the 10 raised to power 5 power, so this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minus 74. So this is equal to 99926. So if we see the trend, if there are the power is of 10 is 2, then there is no 9. Then it is power 3, so it is having 1 9. So that this means basically if 10 is having power n, the number of nines will be n minus 2. As we can see, if n is 4, number of 9s are 2. If n becomes 5, then it becomes 5 minus 2, that is 3. So same, if I see in 10 to the power 50 minus 74, I will be having 9 48 times, right? And then 2 and 6. So then I will be having 2 plus 6. So this is the sum of the digits in that integer. So now 48 multiplied by 9. So that will be equal to 40 plus 8 multiplied by 9 plus this is 2 plus 6, 8. So this is 9 4 360 plus 72 plus 8. So this is 360 plus 80 and this will be equal to 440. Right? So right option for this will be option number C. Option number C, 440. A certain company that sells only cars and trucks reported that revenues from car sales in 1997 were down 11% from 1996 and revenues from truck sales in 1997 were up 7% from 1996. If total revenues from car sales and truck sales in 1997 were up 1% from 1996, what is the ratio of revenue from car sales in 1996 to revenue from truck sales in 1996? So let us suppose that C subscript 96 and C subscript 97 represent car sales in year 96 and year 97, and T96 and T97 represent truck sales in the year 1996 and 1997. Now, according to the question, that the revenue from car sales in 1997 were down 11% from 1996. So that means that this had an 11% decrease. So that means this would be greater. So if I have to equate it, I would write the equation in the form how much down is 11%. So 1 minus 11% is 0.11 into C96 should be equal to C97, right? Because from this year the sale got down by 11%. So I subtracted this from C96 because this sales will be obviously higher. So if I subtract 11% from this, I will be getting equality sign and equal to the sales of car in 1997. Now applying the same method for the truck sales. Now in truck sales it has been written that and revenues from truck sales in 1997 were up 7% from 1996. So that means this would be greater. So I can write the equation in the form by 7%. So that means basically 1 plus 0.07 into T96 should be equal to T97. Fine. Okay. Now further it says that if total revenue from car sales and truck sales in 1997 were up 1% from 1996. So this is the total revenue. So I can write were up by 1%. So that means total C96 plus C96 6 plus T96. C96 plus T96. Total sales in the year 96 equal to C97 plus T97. But he says that the total sales in 1997 were up 1%. So this is greater. So I would add here 1 plus 0.01 to make this equation equal. Right? Now the sales have been equal. From here I will write 1 plus 0.01 C96 plus T96. Now C97 is equal to 1 minus. So I will try to make the equation in the year 1996. So 1 minus 0.11 C96 is equal to C97 plus 1 plus 0.07 into T96 will be equal to T97. So now the equation is in T96, C96 and T96 overall. So now opening the brackets, this is equal to 1.01. So this will be 1.01 C96 plus 1.01 T96 equal to, it's in on this side 1 minus 0.11 is equal to 0.89. So this will be equal to 0.89 96 plus 1.07 T96. Right? Now taking like terms on one side, so I will shift C96 to this side. So I will be getting 1.01 minus 0.89 taking common C96 equal to 1.07 shifting 1.01 T96 to this side minus 1.01 T96. Right? Now 1.01 minus 0.89, that's equal to 0.12 C96 equal to 1.07 minus 1.01, that will be equal to 0.06 T96. Now in the question we have been asked that what is the ratio of revenue from car sales in 1996, so that is C96, to revenue from truck sales in T9. So I will shift T96 to this side so as to get in the denominator, because ratio which we have to find is ratio of car sales in 96 is in the numerator and truck sales is in the denominator. So C96 divided by T96 will be equal to 0.06 divided by 0.12. Now here also decimal, after decimal there are two digits and in denominator also. So if I cancel this, I will be having 100 in the numerator from this side and 100 in the denominator, which will cancel out. So basically C96 upon T96 reduces down to the ratio of 6 by 12, or I can write 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is the desired ratio. If they had asked us the ratio of truck sales in the year 96 divided by car sales, then in that case we have written 0.12 divided by 0.16, 0.06. So in this case the required ratio is 1:2, and the right option for this is option number A. Option number A is the right. Becky rented a power tool from a rental shop. The rent for the tool was $12 for the first hour and $3 for each additional hour. If Becky paid a total of $27 excluding sale tax to rent the tool, for how many hours did she rent it? So total she paid $27. So from this, the first hour payment rent is $12. So I will minus that $12. So I would be left with $15. Now $15 is 3 multiplied by number of hours. Fine, because it charges 3 for each additional hour. But remember, you have to add 1 to this x when you will be solving the answer. So x will be equal to 15 divided by 3, which is equal to 5. So 5 hours after 1 hour. So that will be total number of hours will be equal to 5 plus 1. The 1 on this, the first hour, 5 plus 1, 6 hours. So it's a relatively easier question. The right option for this will be option B. So here I would like to discuss with you about the Gmat trend. So what is basically happening as you start solving questions, if they are correctly marked, then the level of questions will start increasing. But as you give one wrong answer in that, your level will again fall, and the type of questions you would be having would be somewhat easier as compared to when you are constantly solving and giving right options. The level of the questions will start increasing. This is how Gmat assesses the concept based or the question quant aptitude of you. Now, if 4 is less than 7 minus x divided by 3, which of the following must be true? So there are 3 options. 5 is less than x. Mod of x is x plus 3 is greater than 2, and minus of x plus 5. So in the third, this is bracket, not the mod. So minus of x plus 5 is positive. So first of all, we will try to solve what is given to us an inequality. 4 is less than 7 minus x by 3, or I can write it as 7 minus x by 3 is greater than 4. Right? See, 4 is less than this, or 7 minus x is greater than this. So this implies shifting 3 to other side. So I will get 7 minus x is greater than 12. Now minus x will be greater than, so 12 minus 7, or I can write this as minus x is greater than 5. Now multiplying both sides by minus 1. I have told you whenever we multiply by a negative integer, then the sign of equality changes. So this will become minus of x will be x. So x will be less than minus of 5. So here minus sign will be multiplied and the sign of inequality will change. So x is less than minus 5 is what this inequality tells us. Now taking a look at the first option. So first option says 5 is less than x, or I can write this as x is greater than 5, but here it has been written that x is less than minus 5. So on the number line, if I try to represent this, so here it is 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and here minus 5. Now x is somewhat less than this, so all to the right side of this will be greater than this. So x is towards, not including minus 5, it will be towards this. But this says that x is greater than 5, and that will be over here. So x is, so these are all in the opposite direction. So your first statement is not holding true. Now moving to the second inequality. Now second inequality says us that mod of x plus 3 has to be greater than 2. Now we have found out that from this inequality x has to be less than minus 5, but it's not less than equal to. In that case we will take minus 5 as the value also. Now let us try to take the value as minus 6, which will be the first integer in this inequality. So if I take x equal to minus 6, so it will become minus 6 plus 3. So mod of this will be minus 3 mod. So this will be equal to 3, which is greater than 2. Right? So subsequently all the values will be like, if I take minus 7, so in that case minus 7 plus 3, so it will go on increasing and it will be always greater than 2. Right? Because the minus sign is taken care of by this mod, and the very first value after this, the integer value, will be minus 6, and that gives us 3, which is greater than 2. All other values will give us all values greater than 2. So this inequality holds true. Now the third inequality, third is not an inequality, is a, they have given a statement that minus of x plus 5 is positive. No, minus of x plus 5 is positive. Now you see that the first value we can put over here is minus 6. So I will write minus 6 plus 5 equal to minus 1. As you have seen in the previous statement also, that inside the mod the values will always be negative, and when the negative has been provided in the statement, so it will always be positive. So this is also true, that minus bracket x plus 5 will always be positive. So second and third statements are true. So option D is the right answer. A certain right triangle has sides of length x, y, and z, where x is less than y is less than z. So from this is a right triangle and lengths are x, y, z, and it has been given that x is less than y is less than z. So the hypotenuse will be z, because hypotenuse is always the longest side. So I will draw the right triangle. Here it has been given us that this is a right triangle with lengths x, y, and z, and x is less than y is less than z. So z is the longest, so z will become the hypotenuse. So this is x and this is y. Now if the area of this triangular region is 1, which of the following indicates all of the possible values of y? Now see, area will be equal to 1 by 2 base into height 1 by 2 x into y is equal to 1, or I can write xy is equal to 2, right? Now here we have to logically deduce something. Now see that this is the inequality, x is less than y. Now in simple case, let us suppose a case where we will be having x equal to y. In that case, if x multiplied by y is 2, then I can have root 2 into root 2 equal to 2, right? But here I have been given that x is less than y. So obviously this value will be somewhat less than root 2, and y will be having value greater than root 2, because it has to be, x has to be less than y, right? So in that case our inequality, because we have to find the value for y, so y has to be greater than root 2. Or in case if we had been given that indicate all the possible values of x, then in that case we had written that x is less than root 2, right? Because x and y can't be equal, x has to be less than y. The only case that arises is that root 2, we first took the case of equality in which x and y are equal, but x has to be less than y. So in that case x has to be less than root 2 and y will be automatically greater than root 2. So the only possibility, all the possible values will be option number A, y is greater than root. Right? So this is the beauty of Gmat questions, that it tries to have your logical deduction from your concepts which you have studied. This is what Gmat and CAT wants, logically deduction. And since we have not done such kind of questions in our elementary classes and in our foundation classes, so we find somewhat difficult to evaluate this. But you can develop that kind of aptitude by solving such questions. And I have constantly told you that if you want to have concepts grasping, you must study in 8th, 9th and 10th NCERT books, which are easily available at the NCERT website. You can download it chapter wise, or you can download the whole book And what should you study in that is between the exercises. The written material and the examples which have been given over there, written material is very important to build up your concepts. They have covered almost every topic which comes in under Gmat and CAT, leaving some topics which we will definitely discuss. I made separate videos of percentages, ratios, time and work. On a certain day, a bakery produced a batch of rolls at a total production cost of $300. Right? It produced a batch of rolls at a total production cost of $300. On that day, 4 by 5 of the rolls in the batch were sold, each at a price that was 50% greater than the average arithmetic mean average production cost per roll. The remaining rolls in the batch were sold the next day, each at a price that was 20% less than the price of the day before. What was the bakery's profit on this batch of rolls? Now, we can either assume the values or we can assume some variable. So let us suppose n be the number of rolls in the batch, right? And be the number of rolls in the batch, right? And second thing is p, small p, be the average, or which we have referred in this brackets, arithmetic mean, average production price, right? Now the total cost is $300 of the batch. In the first statement he has illustrated that a bakery produced a batch of rolls at a total production cost of $300. So if N is the number of roles in the batch and P is the average production cost. Fine. So N multiplied by P should be equal to 300. Fine. Or we can have this in this way. Let us suppose 60 number of rolls were produced. Fine. And the average production price was 5. So 60 multiplied by 5 will give us 300. Fine. Now on that day 4 by 5 rolls in the batch were sold. So how many batch were sold? So 4 by 5 of N. Right? And each at a price that was 50% greater than the average production cost. Average production cost we have let to be to be P. So 50% greater will be 1.5 of P. Fine. Now, how much of the batch has been sold at the first day? 4 by 5. So how much will be left? So that will be 1 by 5 of N. Fine. How it came? So 4 by 5 of N plus on the second day should be equal to 1. So that is 1 minus 4 by 5. Sorry, N minus 4 by 5 of N. So that will be equal to 5N minus 4N upon 5. So this will be equal to N by 5. So 1 by 5 of N. Now, production cost per roll. So each at a price that was 20% less than the price of the day before. So day before price was 1.5 of P. So 20% less means 0.80 of this previous day price. So that will be equal to 0.80 multiplied by 1.5 of P. Right? So now we'll try to solve this. 4 by 5 N multiplied by, so 15 by 10, so 1.5. I can solve this doing this. So I will be having 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 of P plus 1 by 5 of N. So 0.80 is basically 80 by 100. So this will be 4 by 5. 4 by 5 into 3 by 2 of P. Right? Now this gets cancelled. So I would be left with 6 by 5 of NP. So here also will be having NP. So I will taking NP common. So here I would be left with 6 by 5 plus. Now here again 2. So this will be 6 upon 25. So taking LCM, NP, LCM will be 25. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. 5 into 6 is 30 plus 6. So this will be 36.25 NP. Right? Now, what was the bakery's profit on this batch of rolls? So profit can be calculated by subtracting the cost, that is NP. So 36. So profit will be equal to 36 upon 25 NP minus NP. So this will be equal to, taking NP common, 36.25 minus 1. So this will be equal to 25 LCM. 36 minus 25 is 11. So 11 by 25 of NP. Now NP is equal to 300. So I will simply write 11 by 25 into 300. Now this is equal to 25. 4 is 100. So this is 12. So 12 into 10 is 120. So this is $132 is the total profit. So right option for this will be option number C. You can also solve this question by having the values for n number of rows be 300 and P, the average price, will become 1. In that case also you will find this. If you want, I can solve that for 2 also. Now let us see. Let us suppose that it is having n is 300. So 300 rolls. So average production price per roll will be 300 divided by 300. So that P becomes 1. Right? Now 300 into 1 is the total production cost. 4 by 5 of batch of rows. So n is this. So 4 by 5 of 300. So that will be 240. So 240 multiplied by the 50% greater will be 3 by 2. So that will become 120. So first day they earned $360. Now on the second day, since 240 has been sold out of the production batch of 300, 60 would be left, and that will be sold at 4 by 5, 80% of 3 by 2. The previous price, it has been clearly written that 20% less than the price of the day before. Price day before was 3 by 2. So 80% of that. So this is 5, 12, and here 2, 2. So this will be 12 to 24. 24 into 3. 24 into 3. So this is basically 60 plus 12, 72. So now total earnings from this will be 360 plus 72. So this amounts to 400. So this will be 2, 3, 432. Now out of this, the production cost is $300. So I will subtract from this to get the profit. So this will be $132. So see, again, the right option will be option number C. So you can choose the values also for this, but values you have to be very precise. A set of numbers has the property that for any number t in the set, t plus 2 is in the set. So if t is in the set, then t plus 2 is also in the set. If minus 1 is in the set, which of the following must also be in the set? So if minus 1 is in the set, so next will be minus 1 plus 2. So this is 1. Next will be 1 plus 2. That will be 3. Then 3 plus 2 will be 5, and so on. So next will be 5 plus 2, 7. So this has to be in the set. Now first option is minus 3. So -3 may or may not be in the set, because -1, if the set is starting from -1, which has not been mentioned, but we can't precisely say that -3 must also be in the set. But now second option is 1. So 1, as we have seen that if -1 is in the set, then 1 has to be in the set with the property that t plus 2 is in the set, so 1 is in the set. And third option is 5. 5 is also we have calculated it with this t plus 2, so this has also to be in the set, so 5 is also in the set. So must be in the set will be 1 and 5. But if there had been written that the set is not set is starting from this, so precisely these two be in the set, but -2 may or may not be in this set. So right option for this is second and third only, option D. A couple decides to have 4 children. If they succeed in having 4 children and each child is equally likely to be a boy or a girl, what is the probability that they will have exactly 2 girls and 2 boys? Now see, for the first child they will have either boy or girl. We are representing boy with B and girl with G. For second child also they will have boy or girl. For third child they would also have B or G, and for fourth B or G. Fine. Now, since the possibility of having twins has been ruled out, because it says that each child is equally likely to be a boy or a girl. So for the first, we can have, for this, either we can have G or B, G or B, G or B, or this is OR for every case, right? So basically, we will be having total number of possibilities, that is 2 raised to power 4 equal to 16 possibilities, right? Now, we have to find in which their probability for having exactly 2 girls and 2 boys. Now, first, we will try to have write down the possibilities of other possibilities. So first, their possibility will be having 4 boys, right? So that will be the sequence B, 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 B. So that is one possibility out of these 16 possibilities. Other will be 4 girls. So that will be G, 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 G. So this will be 1. Now, if I say number of boys is 1, number of boys 1, and number of girls 3. So that how many pattern it can be written? So it can be written as B, G, 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 or I can write is G, B, G, G, or I can write G, G, B, G, or I can write G, 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 B. Right? So total number of possibilities that arise from this combination, that it will be having 1 boy and 3 girls, will be 4. Now, if I take 3 boys and 1 girl, so in that case it will become, again I can write G, B, B, B. Right? Now I will start shifting G to the right side. So it will become B, G, B, B. Next will be B, B, G, B. And last will be boy, boy, boy and girl. So 4 possibilities from here. Now if either 4 boys, 4 girls, 1 boy, 3 girls, 3 boys, 1 girl. Now the only possibility left is 2 boys and 2 girls, which I have not calculated this. So total will be this 4, 8, 9 and 10. So 10 possibilities will be having not this. So total number of possibilities which will be having 2 girls and 2 boys will be 16 minus 10. So that will be 6. So we need to find 6 upon 16. So that will be equal to 3 upon 8. So 3 upon 8 is the probability that they will have exactly 2 girls and 2 boys. So right option for this will be option number A is the right option. The closing price of stock X changed on each trading day last month. The percentage change in the closing price of stock X from the first trading day last month to each of the other trading days last month was less than 50%. So that means closing, so it only variated 50% on positive side and 50% on the net side. That is 50% loss or 50% gain. That is the only variation in the closing day price. Now, if the closing price on the second trading day last month was $10, so on the second day of the month, the closing price was $10. Right? Which of the following cannot be the closing price on the last trading day last month? So which of cannot be the, so cannot has been put into capital letters, that you have to find which cannot be the closing price on the last trading day last month. So this is the second day price of the stock. Now let us suppose P be the closing price on first day of month. Right? First day of month we have price P $. Now we have been given a condition that on the next day the price can only variate plus 50% or minus 50%. So I can write that P, let us suppose this is 1 plus n% of P. Right? So this must be equal to 10. Right? Now there are 2 cases arise where n is less than 50, greater than minus 50 and less than plus 50. So two possibilities for first day price P will be, first is 10 upon 1 plus 0.50, and the second possibility for P is, so this is the range we are getting now, P upon minus 0.50. So when we divide this, we get to know that P is approximately 6.67, and from this we get P equal to 10 upon 0.5, 20. Fine. So the first day price will be between 6.67 into 20. Now let us suppose Q is the closing price on the last day of the month. Right. Now we have been told that it can vary only from point plus 0.5 to this 0.50 to 1.50. So we'll try to calculate this by 0.50 multiplied by 6.67. So this will be the range, or the range can be, for maximum range it will be 1.50 multiplied by 20. So this is basically 1 by 2 of 6.67, or if you assumed it to be 6.68, so that will come around about $3.34. So now this is the range, and this will move up to 3 by 2 of 20, so that will be 30. So the last day closing price will have to be varied in between these two, right? Just by limiting it to this. So we can see that 29 falls under this category. Only one option A doesn't fall into this category. So we can say that $3 cannot be the closing price on the last trading day last month, right? So option A is the right answer. Thank you for today's lecture. Bye bye. Take care.